Britt Baker wants out of AEW. I don't give a fuck about any damage control reports from the dying AEW media. I don't care who tries to throw cold water on another obvious benching of a disgruntled top star. If you think that the Britt Baker saga over the past couple of weeks is all just one big misunderstanding, then you need to think. Britt Baker was once arguably the biggest star in AEW, man or woman, the fifth pillar, the face of women's wrestling and all elite wrestling. Fast forward to July 2025, and she hasn't been seen since November 2024. The last time we did see her, she seemed as miserable as ever, saying nobody cares right into the camera at the start of a feud against Serena Deeb that never paid off. She's been posting cryptic messages about the value of water. And when this controversy finally boiled over, you expect me to believe that she's actually a happy hostage who's content on the AEW bench? Think! Today, we're going to talk about Britt Baker becoming the latest disappearing act amid AEW's disorganized leadership, why she wants out, and why she may get her wish. We'll also discuss the possibility of Britt Baker returning to AEW after staging a silent coup. Subscribe and Kirundi. 2025 has been the year of the AEW star rising from the bench and reappearing on WWE TV. It's the year Ricky Starks became Ricky Saints, where Mariah May became Blake Monroe, Malachi Black became Aleister Black, Miro morphed into Rusev, Ray Fenix became Ray Fenix, and Penta turned into Penta. Protect your copyrights, brother. Tony Khan has a long history of poor conflict resolution. He lets talent tweet to their heart's desire no matter how dumb they come off, shouts to Ricochet. He gives talent their own TV shows in response to backstage brawls with EVPs, shout to CM Punk. The list goes on, and I can't think of one time where a disgruntled talent was able to get back on the same page with Tony Khan and AEW and treat their drama like water under the bridge. Even when CM Punk was brought back after beating the shit out of the Young Bucks, Tony Khan's leadership led to another fight, this time with Punk roughing up Jack Perry. And at All In 2023, CM Punk was fired. So given Tony Khan's lack of people skills, a side effect of being an IWC member of 30 years, when Britt Baker disappears off TV, when the DMD subtweets AEW in the same year that the AEW bench is rapidly clearing out and reinventing itself in WWE, what am I supposed to think? AEW talent has made a habit of forcing themselves out of their deals, so when Britt Baker stirs up controversy over her contract, you expect me to believe that she's perfectly fine on the AEW bench and this is all just one big misunderstanding? Think! Tony Khan runs AEW like the Jacksonville Jaguars, easily the worst run franchise in the entire NFL. The Jaguars have signed several free agents and coaches to big contracts only to see all that money fly away like crypto when they don't fit the Jaguars' culture. A culture of being one of only 4 NFL teams to never even make a Super Bowl. Also, when I said crypto, I didn't mean that crypto, I meant this crypto. Yeah, super dog. Britt Baker is over it. There are no coincidences in the wrestling business, and when a top star who's been absent for 8 months posts about being the same water or the value of the place has changed, there's only one way to take that post, and it's the way she wanted you to take that post. Oh no, brother, I was just talking about water. I was thirsty that day, so I made a post to my IG stories that'll disappear in 24 hours. Disgruntled? That's news to me. Sure, I specifically went out of my way to highlight the part about being the same water, but the environment has changed. But that's a total misunderstanding, brother. I was only talking about water because the DMD be thirsty, you know what I'm saying? What a worker. And it's the very type of lying and deniability that you need to have if you're a top star. Britt Baker has sat and watched from the AEW bench as some of her colleagues, most of whom weren't close to being as big of a star as her in her peak, forced their way out of their contracts. The precedent has been set. Britt Baker is just following suit, and I don't blame her. If Britt Baker succeeded in getting out of her AEW contract plus injury time, she'd certainly wind up in WWE or NXT, where she'd go from Britt Baker to Britt Baker. Protect your copyright, sister. Also, here's Tony Khan talking about doing the right thing by letting AEW talent walk.
It is a case-by-case basis. I think everything is really a case-by-case basis. So much of life is a case-by-case basis. But I do think philosophically, you're right. It changed what I've been doing, but it just felt like the right thing for the company and everyone involved at this point. And that's the thinking behind that. They're all different situations, but in this case, those did have similar outcomes. So it's fair to ask and ask why now and why wouldn't have done that before. And I just decided that's what I thought was the right thing to do at this point.
WBD may have lost the NBA, but there's still plenty of talent on that network forcing their way out of their deals faster than James Harden. But what if Britt Baker stays? What if, in the case of Britt Baker, Tony Khan is finally able to show some backbone, real leadership, and use Watergate to make some money? Mercedes Moné, who had her worst match in AEW against Britt Baker, recently hopped on IG Live and suggested she'd be happy to work with Britt Baker again.
We wanted more with you versus Britt. You did? Well, if the DMD wants a back adjustment, she knows where to find me in my locker room. But make sure you knock on the door first before entering. Or I'm gonna call security and the cop.
With all the momentum Britt Baker is drumming up from the AEW bench, it would really be a masterclass of shitty leadership if Tony Khan just let Britt Baker walk to the competition too. WBD is preparing for a split that could potentially be disastrous for AEW. And a desperate Tony Khan is already doing everything he can to get you to believe AEW is turning things around. He's even lying his bifocals off by saying AEW on cable has grown, which is complete bullshit. At the time Tony made that claim, viewership was down 10% year over year. The July 3rd broadcast of Dynamite was down year over year across the board, including a 30% slide in 18 to 49. And this was for an anniversary show. Tony Khan's fellow IWC members like Dancing Dave Meltzer have co-opted Tony Khan's lies, praying WBD executives fall for it come 2026 when it's time to make deep budget cuts. By the way, what's Dave Meltzer's favorite dance move? The stutter step. Anyway, AEW's perception problem cannot afford another high-profile free agent headed for greater pastures. The defections I brought up earlier were only in 2025. I didn't even mention CM Punk, Jade Cargill, and Cody Rhodes, all of whom were massive AEW stars who are thriving in WWE. Stephanie Vaquer was a diamond in the rough whom AEW did not sign to a contract, and now she's on her way to becoming the biggest star in WWE. It's like AEW got a taste of their own medicine from when they vultured the unsigned elite after ROH did all the heavy lifting for All In 2018. AEW needs to find a way to fix things with Britt Baker behind the scenes. The court of public opinion has never been so important for AEW. And if they lose Britt Baker to WWE, consider it nothing short of a conviction. Check out this video and subscribe. Have we seen the last of Britt Baker in AEW? Does Tony Khan's social awkwardness from spending 30 years on IWC message boards make him unfit to charm disgruntled talent out of leaving? Tell me in the comments!